think, example, peer review, peer example is very critical, very important. And the APRM, the Africa Peer Review Mechanism, is actually set up for us to learn from each other. So I do hope the election of the former president of Liberia, where he was a young man who came into office, and then he considered graciously and left, and the election of Faye should really give us example of how election should be a sportsmanlike issue, where gentility, calmness, kindness, culture, and a sense of decency will come into politics and elections. It's not going to, it shouldn't be a winner-take-all issue. And on this, I would like to please tell Nigerians that they should look into their history in order to discover that we have a rich tradition of good governance, rule of law, and human rights, and observance of democracy. They should look at the writings of our ancestors. And where there were no system of writing, they should look at the practices of our ancestors in the predominant empires, kingdoms, and chiefdoms in West Africa. For instance, Al-Magili wrote the obligations of princes for the emirs of Kano. Up till today, the emirs of Kano are abiding by that treatise on governance. Sheikh Usman Danfodio and his son Sultan Bello and his brother Abdullahi, they wrote copiously and extensively on human rights, on governance, on rule of law, on the responsibilities and accountability of leaders. Ahmad ibn Baba in Mali, in Timbuktu, he wrote extensively about governance, about rule of law, about constitution. Sheikh Ibrahim or Muhammad al-Barnawi, who wrote Shurb al-Zulal, he wrote on civil society hundreds of years ago, on what civil society means and what it should do, and how to hold governments accountable. And he criticized leaders for not adhering to their code of conduct in terms of respecting the opinion of people. So whatever Westerners tell us, it is not new. Our ancestors knew about it hundreds of years ago, even before we had first contact with white people. So it's very important for us to teach our people about the heritage, the Oyomesi in Oyo Empire. It's something that is a classical, even predating what we know of the Greek system or the Roman system. This is a self-sustaining system of checks and balances. If you go to the Benin Kingdom, if you go to Oyo, Ife, when Oba of Ife, the Oni of Ife, Sijuade Olubusi, passed away, were there any problems in selecting a successor? No. There is an automaticity to what was happening. When His Highness, the Emir of Zaria, Idris, passed away, within a matter of days, Ambassador Bamali emerged as the new Emir of Zaria, of Zozo, and he's still there. So let us look introspectively into our traditional system of governance and perfect the modern democracy that we're doing against our traditional inherited cultures.
Okay.
Yes. Lastly, Sam, sorry, the greatest problem, threat to democracy in Nigeria and West Africa is impunity. Impunity and the lack of respect for due process and rule of law. We have to now address those issues seriously.